we actually need just to create it up here. Okay, let's create a method sign in user. So this one is going to be a future method, but let's create a future void. Okay, void. Okay, so let's just make it like that, and then here we need to pass something. Okay, so first let's pass the required yeah, maybe we can keep it required function. Okay, it's going to return a bool. So this one is just going to be the loading. Okay, to show loading. Okay, show loading. So because when we are signing in with Gmail, it's going to bring the bottom sheet, and then after we sign in with Google, at that point that it's loading, we want to show the loading indicator. Okay, that's why we are passing it here, so that we know that at this point it's now loading. It's time for us to show the loading indicator. Okay, that's what I'm doing there. So yeah, what is the problem with this? Okay, yeah, because it needs to return something. Okay, so this is going to be now our method to sign in user. Now in this method, what we want to do is okay, first let's add asynchronous keyword, and then we're gonna wrap everything in a try catch block. Okay, also here we're gonna wrap in a try catch. Okay, like that, and then yeah, after now inside here we need to sign in with Google. Okay, so you can see that it actually knows what we want here. It's going to call our method. Okay, there is sign in anonymous. No, this is not what we want. Okay, let's just do that. So what we're gonna do first is to sign in with Google. So we're gonna say sign in with Google, which returns it does not return a credential, it returns a user. So what we will need here is call final user, and then we are going to await sign in with Google like this. Okay, so why is this doing this? Okay, so okay, here we need to return now. Okay, now it's okay. All right, so you can see that first we're going to run this method to sign in with Google. Okay, so after we run this method, now we need to check, okay, if user is not now we check if user is equal to now. If user is equal to now, we're just going to return here. Okay, so if user is not equal to now, what we want to do is to show the loading. Okay, so here we want to show the loading. Okay, so we're gonna call this method to show loading when we get to this stage. If the user has been signed in and then is not now, we are going to show the loading dialog. Okay, now when we are showing the loading dialog, because this at the time that you are signing in, it might not be the first time, or it might be the first time. Okay, so we want to make sure we check if is this the first time you're signing in. Okay, so we want to do check if user exists in Firestore. Okay, so here we can do a check like that, but we are going to do that separately. So we're gonna do if await. I'm gonna create this method. Sorry, await check user exist. Okay, I'm gonna call it like that. If await check user exist, and then I'm going to pass the user. Okay, we are going to pass this user. Okay, so we're going to check with this method. Okay, so if the user exists in Firestore, we are going to get the data and then put it and then just log in. Okay, we are going to set is logged in. We are going to set it to the user. Okay, so these maybe let's do them inside this method instead of doing them here, or we can just do those here. So for now, let's create first of all, let's do in the else, we're going to create the new user down here. Okay, so now here, so first let's put a comment. Yeah, create user in Firestore, but I'm gonna remove this for now. Let's deal with this. So first, let's create this method to check user exists. Okay, I'm gonna click on here and then create a method, which is the check user exists, but this has to be a future method. So I'm simply gonna do future and then return a string. No, actually it's a boolean. Okay, check user exists, and then here all we have to do is just to check if this user exists in Firestore. Okay, yeah, like that. So this is going to go into the document snapshot. We create a document snapshot, user document, await firestore.collection. This is going to be saved in the users collection. So let's go in the constants class. Let's do Firebase collection. Okay, so first we're gonna go Firebase collections, users collection. Okay, yeah, it's just simply going to be like that, and then we can have wallpapers collection is going to be wallpapers like that. So for now we just need users collection. So here we're gonna have constants dot. So let's import the constant class dot users collection dot get. So we're gonna get the users collection there, and then if user exists, we're gonna return true, else we're gonna return false. So if we have an error, we're gonna return false like that. So now if we come back here, so here we're going to check if the user exists. So if the user exists, we're gonna do the get user details from Firestore. So we also need to create this. So this is logged in. We need to get the ID. Okay, that's what we said. If it's logged in, we are going to put the ID here instead of an empty string like that. So now we need this method to get user details from Firestore. So let's create this again. Okay, so in this one again, I'm gonna copy that. We're going to return the user model. Okay, user model, then it's also going to be asynchronous. Okay, just like that. But here there's no need to check if the document exists because we have already checked up here. Okay, so if we come back here we're already checking if the document exists. At the time that we are getting the user data, we already know that the document exists. Okay, so there's no need to check here. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut this out, cut it out from here and then put it here, and then we don't need to try and catch. So let's cut everything, remove the try catch block. Then this method we have called it as from map, not from JSON. Okay, if we come here, we can see that this is the method that we are calling here. Okay, to get the user data from get user details. Okay, so now once we get the user details here, we set them to the user model on top here, and then there is logged in. We put the UID of the person who is logged in. We notify the changes, and then we call our loading to false to dismiss the loading. Okay, and then we just return. Now we need to create the user data. Okay, so first here what I'm going to create is the special, like a special string, this one. Okay, I want to create this unique string as a profile ID. So first let's create a profile ID. So this one I'm gonna say final profile ID. This is going to be, I'm gonna get the user email of this user and then format it to make the profile ID. Okay, so generate a I'm gonna call generate profile ID. We're gonna pass the email here. Okay, so I'm gonna call user.email. Okay, now we need to create this method. So what this method would do is okay, there's just a lot I'll explain. I'm just gonna paste what it does here. Okay, so first I'm going to create it string generate a profile ID. Okay, so it's almost trying, but what I want to do is I want to get the email of the user, and then what I will do is, okay, yeah, we need to add a now. Okay, here we're just gonna put a now check over here, so that here we know that we'll always have the email, because we know that we are generating only this if we are creating a user in Firestore, and the user.email is always not going to be empty, because the time that we are getting here, we know that the user is not now and the user is signed in with email, so we are okay to add the now check here. So now what I want to do is to get the email of the user and then remove the first two characters. Anyway, let me just paste the comment here so that you guys can read it and understand it clearly. Let me paste it. So I've just pasted the comment here. You can see it now clearly. So what I want is this takes as an email and returns a profile ID. This is used to create a unique profile for each user. Get the user's profile and remove everything after the at. Okay, so everything after the at we are going to remove from the remaining string. And then from that remaining string, after we remove everything after the at, we're going to remove 2 characters, and then we'll replace with 4 digits, and then add at the beginning of that name, and then we're going to add this at the end to make something like this, but also it will have digits, which, for example, if the email is john@gmail.com, the profile ID will look something like this. Okay, so that's what I want to do here. So if I put this as a comment here, maybe the assistant will try to make it. If it won't, I will just make it myself. Let's wait. Okay, you can see that it's done exactly that. So let's click tab. Okay, let's minimize that. Let's just read through this. So this one is correct, and then the profile ID is going to get that, and then it's going to substring with -2, and then it's going to get that, and then replace with that, then -2, and then it's going to get the random, make the random number, and so let's import that. And then, yeah, it's going to get the random number between that, which is going to get 4 characters, and then replace it. Yeah, this looks right. Now here, it doesn't need to be like this. Here, it has to be the name. I did not put that here. So what I'll do here, I just need to directly put that here. We need to add brackets here. Okay. Like that. This is what I want. This is how it's going to be created here. Okay, so that's how we are going to generate a profile ID, which looks similar to that, but with some digits here. Okay, because we will save this profile ID as well. Now after this, we need to go back here. Here we need now to create user model. Okay, create user model. Okay, so the user model on top, we just need to call that user model. Yeah, it's going to be like that. So user model on top is going to user ID, is going to be user ID, and then the display name, we're going to get the display name from Google, the email we'll get from Google, photo URL, profile ID is what we've just created here, and then the phone number. So the phone number also we can get from Google. If it's there, we can say user.phone number, or else we'll get the empty one. Then about me, we can say, put the default text like hello, I'm using WallShare, something like that. FCM token obviously for now is going to be empty, and then the time we're going to get date time the milliseconds since epochs. Yeah, we can put it like that. And then online we're going to say true because we are logging in. Following followers and post is going to be 0. Yeah, that's going to be our user model. Right after this, we have to save the user to Firestore. Okay, yeah, add the user to Firestore, which is that. Okay, we can either do it here or we are going to create a method elsewhere. Okay, so here we save the user to Firestore. Then after this, now we can set the loading to false. We don't need to get user detail. Okay, remove set loading. So set logged in. Also here we are going to set the is logged in variable, and then notify the changes, and then show loading to false. Okay, we're going to show loading to false, and then that's it. So this is going to be our method to sign in the user. Okay, unless we have forgotten something. Maybe what we can do is to also update the Firestore user with the credentials from Google. Okay, so update Firebase user. Okay, Firebase author display name. Okay, so you see here we need to do something like this. Okay, user the display name, because this user is actually we want to update the one from Firebase. Okay, what we want to do is to call auth dot current user, and then we add a null check, and then we add the display name, and then also the photo URL. Let's update it with the one coming from not user user model, the same one here. Yeah, we want to update these as well. It's important that we put the updated details. Okay, and then that's it. That's all we need to do. Now we just need to call the sign in user. Once we come back here, then we put the sign in button here. Okay, and then this video has been too long. Let's do the create the sign in method in the next video. But I think before that, maybe we can improve this a bit. Like this is logged in, we can call these and this only once. Okay, instead of returning here, we can just continue, and then after these methods we can call those. So we need to create the method to set is signed in, because we're going to use it to check if the user is signed in. Okay, so maybe down here let's create a method of set is logged in. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to create a void method like that, set is logged in, but this is going to be a future method. Let's create a future method. Okay, future void. This is just setting is logged in, and then we are just gonna pass the UID. Okay, now this is also going to be asynchronous, but why we are doing this, because we want to save this to shared preferences. Okay, so here let's do shared preferences. We're going to have pref dot get instance. Okay, now here we have to with pref dot set string. We are going to set the UID, which is going to be the UID that we have here. Okay, that we are passing, and then here we are going to is signed in there. We are going to set the UID, and then we are going to notify the changes. Okay, so now we'll use this to call it if it's signed in. Now also here let's get the check if it's signed in. Okay, check if let me go back. Check if is the user logged in. Okay, logged in. So this one, it's going to return a string because this is always going to be a string. So first let's close this out, and then let's remove what it's doing here so that it's cleaner. First of all, here we have to return a string, which is going to be the UID. And then here we're going to await the preferences again. And then here, so this string that you see here, for example, we are going to just to set it here. Directory is logged in. Okay, we're going to set the is logged in above with what we are getting from shared preferences. And then now here we have to check. Okay, we are going to check if it is empty. If it is not empty, so let's just have a check here. Okay, if is signed in dot is not empty. So if it is not empty, what we'll do is to get the user data from Firestore, else we are going to return the is signed in. Okay, so let's see. So if is logged in is not empty, which means we are signed in. Okay, so if we are signed in, we are going to get the user data from Firestore and repopulate that. Okay, so what we're going to do is set the user model again. Okay, so get user details, which is that. So this get user details is just the same. It's going to get the user detail, but here we have to pass the is signed in, which is the string. So why are we getting that? Why are we can't get that? Is it outside of the class? Okay, we have a lot of brackets here. Let's close it here. Yeah, you need to be careful with the assistant. They create a lot of brackets. Okay, so here we are going to set that, and then once we set that, at the end here we need to return. So here there is no need to check the else. Okay, so here we just simply need to return the is logged in. Okay, let's remove that like that. So this is going to be checking the user is signed in, and this is setting is signed in. Now what we need to do is here, after we do something like this. Okay, after we get the user data here, we're just gonna set is signed in. Okay, so this, instead of returning here, we don't need to return. And then also right after the end here, we can, okay, anyway, I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. We can just put it individually here. It creates, and then, but the setting is signed in here. We just need to call our method set logged in here. Okay, set, sorry, what did we call it? Set is logged in. Let's copy that, then call like that, and then here we're gonna pass that. I'm gonna copy that same method and then also just paste it here. Okay, set is signed in, set is signed in. Yeah, I think this is much cleaner because we want to use this method to check if user is signed in so that we can pass this what we are passing in the construct. All right, that's it guys. This video has been very long, so thank you and see you in the next video.